Hi, Jess here from Nigezza.co.uk, independent Stampin' Up demonstrator, and I'm also a design team member over on Stamping for All Facebook group, which is run by Scrimping Mummy. And it's my turn to do the weekly design team challenge, and this week it is a nature themed project. So we have lots and lots of nature things to choose from. So we have our nature's poem. God, do you know? Nature's poem, Brain's Dead, and Animal Outing. Now, Animal Outing I got free at On Stage, and I bought the Nature's Poem DSP because I really liked these beautiful colours, and there's lots of sort of nature patterns, and I wanted to use Blackberry Bliss because it's my favourite, so I was trying to decide which one to go for, and I've gone for the leaves, and you can see the bit there that I've cut out to make my card, and I've gone with the kangaroo. I did a card before with the rhino, gone with the kangaroo this time, and this is what I've made. Okay, it's a little baby card for a little girl. In my head, it could be a boy, of course. I dressed my boys in purple. I would have been quite happy to have had that. Yeah, so I just wanted to go for nature with a difference, not gone down the sort of traditional route of the real colours in nature. I've kind of done a little bit of a twist on it. Okay, so stay tuned and I will show you how I made this. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is ink up in some archival ink, so you can use Stays On. I'm using some other archival ink that I happen to have, and I'm doing it on extra thick Whisper White because I'm going to watercolour, which is why I've done the archival ink, because if you do it with a watercolour ink, it's going to bleed, so it needs to be a permanent ink. Okay, now I'm not using watercolour paper because it's a slightly different colour. If I show you, that's our watercolour paper, so it is a different colour, and because I want to use this DSP in the background, it's not going to go, so I've gone with the extra thick Whisper White. So you want it to be a bit stronger, so you don't want it to bubble at all. Okay, so because I'm using this paper, which is on our buy 3 get 1 free offer, so I've got Blackberry Bliss marker, and I've got a Grapefruit Grove marker. I'm using the basic black because that's going to be their noses, and then I've picked out Blushing Blind as the other pink. Okay, and I'm just showing you a different way of using the markers. So I've chosen this Nature's Poem DSP and the Animal Outing because my DT challenge for Stamping for All is nature based. So that's what I've gone for, and I'm forcing myself to use Animal Outing because I basically have to force myself to use it because it's not my favourite thing. I have to say it. So I'm going to, got some blocks. That one could really do with a proper clean, couldn't it? Gosh, how embarrassing. So if I was that embarrassed, I would have washed it first. I knew it was filthy, but in a hurry. I've been away for a lot of the last 4 weeks because my other half's been away and I didn't want to be home alone. So I'm a bit behind. So I'm filming this on Tuesday and it's got to go live on Thursday. So that's my excuse. Well, actually, no, this isn't going to go live on Thursday, is it? Because the DT challenge is following Monday. I'm just getting ahead. I'm filming quite a few today. Getting ahead. Anyway, so going to start with Blackberry Bliss. I'm going to use it on this because it's well, they'll all be cleaned afterwards, but that one's a bit pinky. Okay, now our Stamping Right markers are made with the same ink as our ink pads, so it's a cheap way of getting all the colours is to buy the markers, because you can stamp with them and you can watercolour with them just like you can with the ink pads when you sort of squash them together. So it is a good way of doing it. So I've got some water in me aqua painter, so I'm going to just paint me kangaroo purple. I decided that I wasn't going to stick with the colours that it should be. I decided this was going to be a baby girl card, and so I thought, why not? Let's change up the colours. Took inspiration from the colours palette in the paper, and that's how I came up with this. And I like watercolouring because you don't have to be clever or artistic. So I think it gives quite a nice little effect that way. And then I'm just gonna do a little bit extra there where it's going to be without adding any extra water, so we might have a little bit of darker colour coming up there. Give it a bit of depth. Because there's already sort of shadows in the stamp, so we just follow those. Give it a little bit of something. And now I'm going to give that a wipe off. Squeeze out the colour to clean my brush, so we can do the next one. So I'm going to do Grapefruit Grove on the belly. Oh, wrong end. You really need to use the brush end. So put a bit of Grapefruit Grove over that. This is another good use for your acrylic blocks. You could, of course, use any surface. You could use a stamp case. I used to use CD cases. Some of my plastic storage boxes, I'd use those. And I do like the way with watercolouring you get these different graduated lines. I like the look. I like that it doesn't have to be completely neat. Drip. Get rid of the colour. There we go. And then I'm going to do a bit of pink. Blushing Bride for the little koala bear, as if that's the baby, because that was the idea I had from this. So just have our little koala. And then finally we want a bit of black with a koala nose. So I've got a basic black marker here. And I'm just going to put that around his nose and on there. Okay. And that's me watercolouring. Let me give this a bit of a wash out. And that's the brush cleaned. The brush has got stained through different uses, but as you can see, it's clean as a whistle. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to die cut this with the largest stitched circle, but I also want a sentiment. So I've mounted the welcome little one, mounted the two together, and I'm going to stamp that, and I'll be cutting that out using Memento on this one because it's not going to be watercoloured, so it doesn't matter. So I'm going to do that up there so that I can cut that out at the same time. And I've got the little sort of decorative bit there, got that little bit there. Can I see, am I in the right place? No, there. So I got that little bit there, which I thought would look quite nice in between the welcome and the little one. And I want to get that straight. So I'm going to put that in there. I like it. And so I'm going to cut those out with the largest stitch framelit and the smallest stitch framelit and come back to you. Okay, so I've cut these out using my stitch circle framelits, my favourite framelits. So versatile, absolutely brilliant. And I have cut a standard card base there in extra thick Whisper White. I've cut my usual mat in a Blackberry Bliss, and then the next mat in this lovely DSP. And being frugal, I have cut a scallop circle out because you're not going to see it. And that's going to be layered behind our little kangaroo. And to layer behind this one, I'm going to use the 1.5 circle punch. So I'm going to cut a circle out of this to let my precious Blackberry Bliss cardstock go a bit further because I do love it. There we go. And then that will layer behind that to go on there. And then I thought I would give a little lift. So I've got the silver baker's twine. So I thought I might wrap a bit of that around. And to bring out some bling, I'm going to use some Wink Stella to give it a little bit of something special. So I'm going to put some Wink Stella on the koala bear's nose so that it's shiny, and on the kangaroo nose so that it's a bit shiny. Don't know if that shows up at all. And then I thought I might go over the belly as well. Just to give it a little bit of blingy. And I really don't know if you can see that. And then I thought I might just go over this bow bit on the welcome so that there's a little bit of bling on there too. Okay, love me Wink Stella. I did give them away this month as a customer thank you. So I hope people liked that. Right, so let's just get this all stuck together. So I'm going to use Tombow, so I've got a little bit of wigglage. So a little bit of that around there, so that I can get that centered nicely. Same on this. Stick that on my scallop circle. I do love the layering of the scallop circle behind the stitch circle. I've done it a few times and I do like the way it turns out. There we go. Right, now I'm just going to put the lid back on that for now, and I'm going to wind this around. So I'm going to get put a bit of tape on the back here to stick the baker's twine to. I am using Fast Fuse because it's there. Okay, I love that as well. How gorgeous is that? So I'm just going to stick a bit there, stick that there, have it coming down a bit, have it coming down there, sticking to my fingers, have it come up there and down again, and then just secure it. And scissors please, they're over there. Cut it off. There we go. So that just gives it a little something. Check I like it. Yeah. So I'm going to glue around the edges of this. To stick to my mat. Just going around the edges because of course I've cut centre bits out. So there's no point going all over because there's no to stick to. Then, oh, helps if you take the lid off. A bit more Tombow on the back of that. And I will go up the middle a bit of that. I used to, when I first started crafting, many years ago, I used to buy find leaves in different colours like these, exactly like these, and I used to use them as accents on my cards. And so when I saw this paper, it's like, oh, that brings back such lovely memories. I used to enjoy doing that. Right, I'm going to stick that there, and I'm going to pop this one up, or I could pop them both up. No, I'm going to stick that one down. So I'm not going to stick it over that. I might stick it behind and pop that up. Or turn it on its side. Do you know, sometimes I sit and think, I wish I could go answers on a postcard. Which do you think looks better? stick to my original idea. You can tell I don't plan, can't you? I just go with it. I kind of have an idea, hasn't got it fully formed, and go with it. So I think I will pop them both up because I chose to have that twine, and I can't stick it down completely because of that. Oh, lost a hexagonal. There we go. So I'm going to stick that about there, and then I'm going to put a hexagonal on the bottom and a bit of tombow on that edge there to stick it to that topper. Just going to hold that down a bit because I want this edge to stick. There we are, and I think I'm going to get some rhinestones to fully finish it off. Rummage, rummage, rummage. All me rhinestones. And I'm gonna get my pokey tool, which was here about 20 seconds ago. It was literally here. Right, so I'm going to take these middle-sized ones, and I think I'm going to put three down. In that corner. So there we have it. So that is my nature project for Stampin' for All design team. Okay, so if you want to join in, please do post your entries over at Stampin' for All Facebook group run by Scrimpy Mummy, and there'll be a file on there for you to put your entries in. Of course, it's nature, so you can do anything you want. You don't have to copy my design at all. And there we go. Now all I've got to hope is that someone has a baby girl so I can give this to them. Okay, thank you for joining me. All the details will be over on my blog, nigezza.co.uk. Okay, bye for now.